Deep space was silent. There was no sound, no movement, only endless darkness stretching in all directions. In the middle of this cold, empty void, a small human ship drifted slowly. It moved like a dying animal taking its last breaths. This metal body was broken. Deep cracks covered its hull. Some parts were missing. Small fires burned inside the open panels, and tiny sparks floated away into the darkness. The ship looked abandoned, old, weak, almost dead. For a long time, no ship had passed this area. No signals traveled here. No life existed in this part of space. But today, something different was happening. Far away, like shadows rising from the dark, a massive alien fleet was moving across the starfield. Hundreds of giant alien warships glowed with strange blue and purple energy. Their engines hummed with power strong enough to destroy planets. These alien ships were clean, advanced, perfect. They represented the most powerful empire in the galaxy. The aliens on these ships believed one thing with full confidence. Humans are extinct. They died 10,000 years ago. To them, humanity was nothing more than an old story. A warning from ancient history. A species that once fought hard but disappeared completely after a great war. No alien in this age had ever seen a real human. But today, their belief was about to break. Inside the command ship of the alien fleet, Commander Serac watched the screens calmly. His species, the Karath, were known for their cold logic. His eyes moved across the holographic map with no emotion. Another day, another patrol. Nothing unusual. Suddenly, one of the control officers stood up. "Commander, we are detecting something unusual." Serac turned slowly. "What type of signal?" The officer's voice shook. "It is human." The entire bridge went silent. "Human? Impossible." Commander Serac frowned. "Run the scan again." The officer already had. Signal confirmed. Old human frequency, a very old. Around 10,000 years. Serac felt something he had not felt in a long time. Unease. He stepped forward as the holographic display expanded. There, in the middle of the map, floated the damaged, dying human ship. Serac whispered, almost to himself, "Impossible. No humans survived." But the signal was real. The ship was real. And it was sending something. The alien fleet changed course immediately. Hundreds of powerful warships turned toward the lonely human vessel, surrounding it like giant beasts moving toward a wounded prey. As they approached, the signal from the ship grew stronger. It was not a distress call, not a weapon, not a message to another fleet. It was a recording, a single, repeating message. Inside the ship, deep in the dark interior, an old speaker crackled. The voice was weak and filled with static, but still clear. "This is the last ship of humanity. We are not gone." The aliens listened, and for the first time in centuries, they felt fear. Commander Serac stared at the screen. His mind raced. A human recording should not exist. A human ship should not still be floating. And a human voice should not still be heard. "Humans were wiped out," Serac said quietly. "Every record shows it. Every archive confirms it." Another officer replied, "Commander, what if the records were wrong?" The moment the officer spoke those words, everyone on the bridge felt a chill. If humans had survived, even one of them, then everything the galaxy believed would change. The balance of power would shift. Old secrets would rise. Old enemies might return. Serac made a decision. "Prepare a boarding team," he ordered. Officers looked up, shocked. "Commander, you want to enter the human ship? Could be dangerous. Could have ancient weapons active. Could be a trap." Serac shook his head. "No, this ship is too damaged to fight. And if even one human is inside, alive or dead, we must know the truth." He stepped closer to the viewing window. The human ship floated in front of the alien fleet like a ghost from another age. Its quiet presence felt heavier than 1,000 warships. Serac spoke softly, but with full authority. "If a human is alive, everything will change." Silence covered the bridge again. No one dared to speak. No one dared to breathe. This was no longer a normal patrol. This was history waking up. This was a ghost returning. This was the beginning of something far greater. As the boarding ships prepared to launch, Serac watched the human vessel carefully. This dark windows, this cracked metal, this barely glowing lights. This old ship had survived 10,000 years. Why? How? And what did it carry inside? The recording played again, echoing through the alien speakers like a whisper from the dead. This is the last ship of humanity. We are not gone. With those words, the alien boarding team moved toward the silent ship, and the universe held its breath. The alien boarding ship moved slowly toward the old human vessel. Its engines hummed softly, cutting through the darkness of space. Inside, the boarding team waited quietly. Each soldier was fully armored, holding advanced weapons glowing with blue energy. But even with their strength and training, they felt something strange today. Fear. Not fear of danger, but fear of the unknown. None of them had ever seen a human. They had heard stories, old, dark, powerful stories, but no living alien had witnessed one with their own eyes. To them, humans were legends, monsters, ghosts from ancient war records. And now they were about to enter a human ship. The boarding captain, Vareen, stood at the front. His voice was calm but firm. Stay close. Watch every corner. Human ships from their last era were unpredictable. They used weapons no one in today's galaxy understands. One soldier whispered, "Do you think a human is inside?" Vareen did not answer. His silence was enough. The boarding ship finally connected with the human vessel. A loud metallic clank echoed through the chamber as the doors aligned. Sparks drifted in the air. A cold hiss sounded as the airlock opened. The smell hit them first. Old metal, burned wires, dead air that had not moved for thousands of years. The corridor inside was dark, completely dark. Only their helmet lights cut through the shadows, revealing broken walls, collapsed beams, and floating debris. Felt like walking into a tomb. Vareen raised his hand. Move! The team stepped inside. The floor was covered with dust. Ancient human dust that rose into the air with every step. Their lights revealed long claw marks on the wall, broken screens, and doors that looked twisted from some old impact. One soldier spoke carefully. This ship, it survived a battle. Another added, not a small one. The hull shows heavy plasma damage. Vareen nodded. Humans fought until their last breath. The deeper they went, the more silent it became. No sound, no machines, no voice, only the slow breathing of the team and the faint buzz of their suits. But then, a faint sound came from deeper inside the ship. A soft mechanical echo. Beep, beep, beep. The team froze. Commander Vareen, one soldier said quietly. Something is active. Vareen looked ahead. A system surviving this long is impossible. But the sound continued. Beep, beep, old, weak but alive. They followed it. As they moved through the ship, they passed rooms filled with fallen equipment, broken chairs, shattered monitors. Every piece told the same story. Chaos, war, and desperation. Finally, they reached a large chamber. The room was cold, filled with fog from leaking cryopipes. Their lights reflected off metal surfaces. In the center stood a single machine, a single pod, a cryopod, still active. Soft blue lights blinked around it. The sound came from the pod's heart. Beep, beep, beep. Vareen stepped closer. Scan it. The tech officer scanned the pod, and his voice trembled as he read the results. Life signs, confirmed. Every soldier froze. Alive? A human alive? Vareen whispered. This is not possible. The tech officer continued, voice shaking. The human is in deep stasis. Systems are failing. The pod is the only thing keeping him alive. 1,000-year-old human. A survivor from a dead species. A living fossil from ancient war. The team stared through the frost-covered glass. Inside, they could see the outline of a man. His suit was old, marked with human military symbols long lost to history. His face was calm, young, frozen in time. He looked like he fell asleep yesterday, not 10,000 years ago. One soldier stepped forward slowly. What do we do now? Before Vereen could answer, the cryopod lights flickered. The beeping became faster. Beep, 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 beep. Warning, the tech officer said. The pod is destabilizing. It's waking him. The soldiers backed away, raising weapons instinctively. The glass on the pod cracked. A loud hiss filled the chamber as warm air entered the pod. The human's fingers twitched. His chest rose for the first time in thousands of years. The team watched in shock as his eyes opened, slowly, painfully, adjusting to the lights after so long. A human, a real human, alive. The man gasped, taking his first breath of new air. He tried to move but collapsed halfway out of the pod. The soldiers stepped back, unsure what to do. The human looked around, confused, tired, scared. Where am I? He whispered, voice weak and broken. Vereen slowly lowered his weapon. You are aboard an ancient human vessel. We are Karath. The human blinked. Aliens? I don't understand. Vereen spoke carefully. Human, can you tell us your name? The man took a slow breath. Lieutenant Eric Vale. Earth Defense. Last war. Earth Defense. The last war. A war the galaxy had erased from history. Vereen and his team exchanged looks. Every story they had heard about humans, even the exaggerated ones, suddenly felt real. Eric tried to stand but fell again. Two soldiers quickly caught him. He did not resist. He simply looked exhausted, like he had carried the weight of the universe on his shoulders. Then he asked the question that froze the entire team. What year is it? Silence. Vereen answered softly. It has been 10,000 years since the fall of humanity. Eric's eyes widened. His breath shook. He whispered only one thing. No. They weren't supposed to win. The soldiers exchanged confused looks. Who? Vereen asked. Who wasn't supposed to win? Eric looked at him with fear in his eyes. Fear for the entire galaxy. The enemy, he said. The one that erased humanity. And with those words, the real story began. The alien soldiers carried Lieutenant Eric Vale out of the cryo chamber slowly. His legs were weak after 10,000 years in stasis. His breathing was heavy, and his eyes struggled to adjust to the bright lights of the alien helmets. Every step echoed through the silent corridors of the dead ship. For the aliens, walking beside a real human felt unreal, like walking with a myth, a creature from an age of legends. But for Eric, every step felt like walking into a nightmare he didn't understand. They reached the boarding ship, and the doors closed behind them with a hiss. Commander Serac was already waiting inside. When he saw Eric, he froze. So this was a human. A survivor from the age when humans were known as the most unpredictable warriors in the galaxy. Eric looked up at Serac, confused, weak, and scared. But there was something else in his eyes too. Pain hidden deep inside. Serac spoke first. Lieutenant Eric Vale. I am Commander Serac of the Karath Empire. You are safe for now. Eric managed a weak smile. Safe? After 10,000 years? Hard to believe. The soldiers helped Eric sit on a seat. His hands shook as he looked around, trying to understand the world he woke into. Serac stepped closer. We have questions. Many questions. Eric nodded slowly. I know, and I will answer. But first, tell me, what happened to humanity? Is Earth still alive? Serac hesitated. He did not want to say the words. Humanity is gone. Every human world is silent. No human colony survived. Records say your species ended completely. Eric closed his eyes. His breathing stopped for a moment, like the words had stabbed him in the heart. Gone. Everyone he ever knew. Everyone he ever fought for. His home. His world. His entire species. He whispered, No, no, that cannot be. Serac watched him silently. Aliens did not understand human emotions well, but even he could feel the pain Eric carried. After a long, quiet moment, Eric finally opened his eyes. Commander, humanity did not die naturally. Someone caused it. Someone wanted us erased. Serac stepped forward. Who? Eric took a deep breath. And finally, he spoke the truth that had been hidden for 10,000 years. The ancient enemy. Eric began to explain. During the last war, humanity fought an enemy that the galaxy had never seen before. They were not aliens like you. They were something older. Something powerful. The alien soldiers leaned in. Even Sirac's calm expression shifted slightly. Eric continued. They were called the Virex. Sirac frowned. There is no record of such a species. Eric nodded. Of course not. They erased the records. They erased everything. The aliens fell silent. Eric's voice grew darker as he described them. The Virex were not many in number, but they were strong. Too strong. They could corrupt technology, manipulate energy, and consume entire civilizations. Wherever they went, life disappeared. Vereen, the boarding captain, stepped closer. How did the humans fight such a species? Eric gave a tired smile. Humans do not give up, even when the universe thinks they should. He paused, then continued. We fought the Virex for 200 years. Battles that destroyed stars. Wars that broke empires. But during the final war, we learned something. Sirac asked, What? Eric looked directly into Sirac's eyes. That someone in the galaxy helped the Virex. The soldiers stiffened. Eric continued. Humanity was betrayed. Someone gave the Virex the secret paths into human space. Someone helped them destroy Earth. Someone wanted us gone. Sirac felt a chill run through him. The betrayal was never discovered? He asked. Eric shook his head. No, I was carrying the last data file. The truth. The names. The evidence. My ship was the last messenger. But before I could deliver it, we were attacked. My crew died. I went into cryosleep to protect the information. Vereen swallowed hard. And the Virex? Eric looked out the window into the stars. They were not defeated. Humanity stopped them temporarily, but not completely. Sirac's voice became sharp. Meaning what? Eric answered with a heavy voice that filled the room with fear. They are still out there, and if they learn I am awake, they will come again. The alien reaction. Silence spread through the room. Sirac finally spoke. If your story is true, the galaxy is in danger. Eric nodded slowly. Yes, and you must understand something else. What? Eric leaned forward, eyes intense despite his weakness. Humanity was preparing something before we fell. A plan to stop the Virex forever. A hidden project. The last hope. Sirac stepped closer. Where? Eric's voice became a whisper. I know the coordinates, and I can take you there. The aliens exchanged worried looks. If this was true, the galaxy's greatest threat might return at any moment. Sirac gave the order. Prepare the fleet. We follow the human. But Eric raised a hand. No, not your whole fleet. If the Virex detect too many ships, they will attack immediately. We must go quietly. Sirac hesitated, then nodded. Eric continued softly, almost trembling. And Commander, understand this clearly. Sirac waited. The galaxy thinks humans were weak. They think we died easily. But they don't know the truth. Eric lifted his head, and for the first time, the fire of ancient humanity burned in his eyes. We did not fall because we were weak. We fell because we were dangerous. The aliens stared at him in shock. Eric finished. And the Virex feared only one species. Humans. The alien command ship was silent as Lieutenant Eric Vale sat at the center table, a dim hololight shining above him. His breathing was steadier now. His strength was slowly returning, but the weight of 10,000 years still sat on his shoulders. Commander Sirac stood across from him, studying every expression on the human's face. The Karath soldiers watched from the sides, unsure whether they were guarding Eric or witnessing history. Eric took a shaky breath. I need to access my ship, he finally said. Sirac nodded. Why? We recovered the cryopod. There is nothing else. Eric shook his head firmly. No, there is something else. Something more important than me. Sirac's eyes narrowed. Explain. Eric leaned forward. There is a data core hidden deep inside my ship. It holds a message from the last leaders of humanity, a warning about the Virex, the traitor who helped them, and the last plan humans made before extinction. The room fell silent. A message from ancient humans? A recording from before their fall? A truth no one in the galaxy had ever known? Serac finally said, "Show us." Return to the dead ship. The boarding team, along with Eric and Serac, entered the human ship again. This time, Eric moved slowly but confidently, his steps guided by memory. Even after thousands of years, he remembered every corridor, every room. This ship was called the Remnant Dawn, Eric explained. We were humanity's last hope to deliver the final message. Vereen examined the broken walls. Your ship looks ancient beyond repair. Eric smiled weakly. It wasn't meant to survive this long, but humans were stubborn. We built things to last. They reached a sealed door at the end of a ruined hallway. The metal was bent and burned, but still holding. Eric placed his hand on a small panel. Open, he whispered. Nothing happened. He sighed. The system is dead. I'll need help. Serac stepped forward and signaled 2 soldiers. They pushed, pulled, and finally forced the old door open with a loud metallic shriek. Inside the small room stood a single dark pillar, the data core. Its surface was covered in dust and burn marks. Its lights were dead. The systems were cold. But Eric smiled with relief. It's still here. The alien tech officer scanned it. The power cell is empty. Long dead. Eric nodded. I expected that. He opened a panel and jacked a portable power source into it. The data core hummed weakly. Then the lights flickered. A single blue light glowed. Vereen stepped back. It's functioning. Eric whispered. Play message. Authorization Eric Vale. Earth defense. The data core beeped. It recognized him. A hologram formed above the core, distorted at first, then stabilizing into the image of an older human man. His face was tired, his uniform damaged, covered with dust and dried blood. Eric whispered, voice shaking, Commander Hale. It was his commander, his mentor, his leader. The aliens watched as the message began. The last human message, 10,000 years old. The hologram spoke. If you are seeing this, then humanity has fallen. Eric clenched his fists. The hologram continued. The Virex have broken through our final lines. Earth is burning. Our colonies are silent. Our fleets are gone. The alien soldiers exchanged uneasy looks. Commander Hale's voice grew heavier. But listen carefully. Humanity did not lose because we were weak. We were betrayed. Serac leaned forward. Inside the Galactic Council, there is a traitor. Someone who gave the Virex our defense codes. Someone who erased our history from the records. Someone who wants the galaxy to forget we ever existed. Eric felt a knife in his chest. Even after so long, the truth hurt. The hologram continued. But we have hope. A final plan. A final gift. The image shifted to show an enormous structure hidden inside a nebula, massive, shining with blue energy. Eric whispered, Project Ascendant. Serac asked, What is that? Eric explained, Humanity built something before we died. A fortress, a weapon, a sanctuary, something powerful enough to fight the Virex if they ever returned. The hologram continued, Lieutenant Eric Vale carries the last key. Protect him. Trust him. With him, humanity's fire will rise again. The hologram flickered and then ended with Hale's final words. And remember, humanity does not fade. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity endures. The room fell silent. Eric lowered his head. Tears touched the corners of his eyes. Silent, painful. Serac finally spoke. Human. These words, they change everything. Eric nodded slowly. Yes, and now you understand. I was not just a soldier. I was a messenger. Vereen stepped forward. Where is this place shown in the message? This fortress? Eric responded, I know the coordinates. And if what Hale said is still true, Then the fortress may still be active. Serac looked at him cautiously. And the traitor? The one who erased humans from history? Eric shook his head. The data core has the name, the proof, the evidence. Serac inhaled sharply. Then we must know. Eric touched the data core again. Open the traitor file. But the core beeped red. Error, it said in a robotic voice. Access locked by unknown external interference. The aliens stepped back. Interference? From what? Eric's eyes widened, filled with fear. No, it cannot be. Serac demanded. Human, what does this mean? Eric lifted his head slowly. It means the Virex know I'm awake. A chill spread through the room. Eric whispered. They are coming. Scene. Alien flagship interior. A cathedral-like command hall filled with holographic star maps, ancient records, and glowing data crystals. The mood is tense. Visuals. Red emergency lights flash. Alien officers rush between consoles. The human ship's signal becomes clearer, stronger, impossible to ignore. The hologram of the human warship rotates slowly above the table, damaged yet unmistakably alive. Story. Panic spreads among the alien leadership. The high strategist slams his claws onto the table. This cannot be. Our records show humanity went extinct 10,000 cycles ago. We made sure of it. A younger alien officer stares at the data. Sir, the ship carries a human quantum signature. 100% match. They survived. Whispers ripple through the chamber. Survived? How? Where? Why now? The High Council is summoned. Ancient holograms appear, showing the Great War from 10,000 years ago. The war where aliens claimed they destroyed Earth. One elder trembles. We buried the truth. We erased the records. If humans are back, then they know what we did. The strategist responds coldly. Then we must destroy them before the galaxy learns. But suddenly the hologram flickers. The lone human ship sends a message across open channels. Not in human languages, but in the alien tongue. To the ones who tried to erase us, we remember. The entire chamber goes silent. The elder alien whispers the words everyone fears. The ghosts of Earth have returned. Outside the flagship, alien fleets begin forming defensive lines. The galaxy prepares for a war they hoped would never come again. Deep space, the void trembles. The alien fleets form massive defensive walls around their controlled systems. Thousands of glowing warships shift into formation, covering entire star sectors. But something feels wrong. Something is coming. Visuals. The lone human ship continues drifting, sparking, barely alive. Alien scanners detect unstable space-time distortions. Stars bend. Light curves. The vacuum ripples like water. Ancient human symbols, long forgotten, flicker in the distortion patterns. Story. The alien commander locks eyes on the screen. Identify that anomaly. An officer stutters. It's impossible. It's a hyperspace tear. No known species can generate one at this scale. Suddenly, a massive shockwave explodes outward, harmless but powerful enough to disrupt sensors. From the tear in space, something emerges. Not one ship, not a fleet, but an entire armada, colossal, silent, and unlike any human ships from old records. Humanity didn't just survive. They evolved, transformed, ascended. The flagship registers a coded message across all frequencies. This is the Terran Exodus fleet. To all alien powers, your purge of humanity ends today. Alien officers panic. A whole fleet. How did they hide? How did we miss this? The high strategist's voice shakes for the first time. We didn't miss them. They allowed us to believe they were gone. The alien fleet opens fire first. Beams, torpedoes, kinetic slugs. But the shots curve away, harmlessly deflected by a glowing human shield technology no species has ever seen. Human ships advance slowly, deliberately, unstoppable. A deep, resonant transmission echoes across every system. We were the ones you feared would return. We are the ones you should have feared when you attacked Earth. Humanity has come home. Aliens watch in terror as the first human dreadnought powers up its main weapon, a sun-bright lance of energy forming at its bow. Deep space burned with light. Thousands of alien warships faced the newly awakened human fleet. Their shields shimmered with energy. Lasers and plasma beams flashed, but the humans were calm, their formations precise, deliberate. They were not here for chaos. They were here to remind the galaxy of what it had forgotten. At the center of the human formation floated the massive Terran command ship, a fortress of metal and energy. Its hull bore the scars of battles long past, yet it radiated power like a living being. On its bridge, Lieutenant Eric Vale stood, looking at the alien fleet, calm, steady, determined. Behind him, the human fleet hummed with life. Dreadnoughts, carriers, and fast strike ships moved in harmony. Ancient weapons, dormant for 10,000 years, glowed as their energy systems came online. The ghosts of humanity were alive again. Serac, the alien commander, stared from his flagship at the approaching human ships. For centuries, the Korath Empire had believed humans extinct, weak, finished. Now all certainty shattered. He whispered, almost to himself, they were never weak. They were always dangerous. The first shots were fired by the aliens, a barrage of plasma and kinetic rounds. But the humans did not panic. The Terran fleet's shields bent and twisted the beams, absorbing the energy without a scratch. Alien torpedoes exploded harmlessly against the invisible force fields. From the command bridge, Eric gave a single order. Hold formation. Wait for my signal. Every human ship responded instantly. They were synchronized, calm, patient. Then Eric activated the first weapon, a massive lance of blue energy stretching from the Terran command ship into space. It pierced the darkness like a bolt of lightning, cutting a swath through the nearest alien destroyers. The fleet froze. The aliens had never seen such technology. Ships that survived decades of war were obliterated in seconds. Systems overloaded. Shields failed. Commands jammed. Panic spread through the alien ranks. Serac tried to issue orders, but his officers could not keep up. Reports flooded in. Ship destroyed. Ship destroyed. Shields down. Eric's voice, calm and commanding, echoed across encrypted channels. You laughed at humans. You erased us from history. You thought we were gone. You were wrong. Humanity never dies. Humanity endures. The alien fleet attempted to retreat, but the human ships anticipated every movement. Faster strike vessels flanked their flanks. Interceptors blocked escape routes. Every maneuver the aliens made was predicted and countered. Serac realized the truth. This was not just a fleet. This was humanity's revenge and reckoning combined. Eric activated the second weapon system, a satellite array hidden within the fleet that unleashed electromagnetic pulses, disabling alien communications and weapons. Ships that had relied on centuries of technology suddenly became useless, drifting like lifeless husks. Even the high strategist could do nothing. His centuries of power and planning crumbled before the simple, perfect execution of humanity's return. Then Eric broadcasted a final message to the entire galaxy. We are not extinct. We are not weak. We are humanity. And this is only the beginning. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter as if responding to the human signal. Across countless systems, alien observers stopped their battles. The legend of humanity, long thought lost, had returned with force beyond comprehension. On the Terran command ship, Eric looked toward the stars and whispered to himself, we carry the past, we reclaim the future, and we remind the galaxy, humans are never gone. The alien forces, humbled and broken, were forced to retreat. Their empire was shaken to its core. Every system they controlled now questioned what they had believed about the humans for millennia. In the aftermath, the human fleet regrouped. Ships still bore scars from ancient and recent fights, but their presence was undeniable. A signal went out to any remaining human colonies, still hidden, still surviving. We are back. Rejoin us. The galaxy belongs to humanity again. The camera pans out, showing the lone Terran command ship at the center of an array of smaller ships. shining like a beacon in the void. A single line echoes in the silence of space. They thought humanity was extinct, but they were wrong. The screen fades to black. The story ends, but the legend of humanity's return has just begun.